Alright guys, welcome back. Let's go to part 2 of our module 2. In this video, we will be talking about input and output. But before we proceed, let me draw your attention to what we discussed in the last video. If this is the first time you're joining us or you stumbled upon this video, do well to watch part 1 of module 2. There we talk about variables and data types. And do not forget to subscribe, give a thumbs up, and also click the notification bell in order for you to be notified when next I drop another video. Alright, so let's talk about input and output. Now for user input, we usually use the scanf function. We learned previously in module 1 and printf function is used for output. So for input, we use the scanf function. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to output a number entered by the user. Okay, so I go straight to my online compiler once again. Now this is my online compiler, and you recall that we have to use this framework in order to describe or in order to how our C code is usually written. Okay, so I would initialize my variable, a variable, and now I would not be putting any input. Now take note that when I initialize this variable my num, in the memory address of the system, space is already integer, space of 4 bytes allocated to my num, to the variable my num. Okay, so now we will first of all print an information to the user, telling the user to please a number. Okay, so they will put it here like that. So the user can enter this way. Now, how do we take inputs from the user? I mentioned that we use this scanf. So this scanf is used to take input. Okay, then what do we need to do now? Okay, so from this, we want to get the input from the user. It's important that we use this specifier. The specifier for integer presented. Okay, so we use our double quote and we use our specifier. And the D is a specifier for now. In order for us to be able to assign that value to the input, we use what we call a referencer. In subsequent videos, we'll discuss referencing and dereferencing. So on that point, as we'll discuss that. So we use what we call a referencing. Actually attach the value to the variable. So we use the and. What we are doing here is telling the user to please enter a number of their choice. Then the number would be typed by the user, taken by this format specifier. Then the and, my num here, attaches the value that has been inputted here to the variable my num. So by using the and my num, we we are attaching the variable imputed by the user to the variable that was declared. Now, the next thing we do finally is to print out the variable now. We say the number you enter. We use once again. Okay, so let's run the code and let's see what we have. Now that we are running, you see that the program prints, please enter a number of your choice. And now the user is allowed to make an input because of -6. How you enter is -6. So let's run again, and this time let's try a different number, 465. How you enter is 465. And let's attempt to put in something that is not a number. Then you press enter, it says the number you enter is 0. So because we put in a wrong choice, wrong data type, we put in characters instead of numbers, the value returns 0. So let's try to put in a float, and you will see that only the decimal part of the number, only the whole number part of the number is returned. I beg your pardon. The decimal part of the number is not returned. So this is how we input. Let's assume that now we want to input a float, and so this will change. This will now be f. When you run, say 6.78, it gives you 6.78. Output to be in 2 decimal places. Here I have 6.75. 79. Okay, let's say it's a character that I want to impute. Change this to C, and this will also be C. And when I run, I'll say the number is supposed to be A. Okay, let's try that with this lowercase number, lowercase alphabet rather. Says the character you entered is. Try that with a symbol, say star. The character you entered is. So this is just basically how we take in inputs. Okay, so let's move on now. Now, how do we take multiple user input? We learned how to take in single input. So what if I have multiple inputs? How do I do that? Okay, so to take multiple inputs, this is what we need to do. Okay, so let's come back here. Say I have an integer, and have a character. Say my character. Okay, so please enter a number, float, and a character of your choice. So I have to make provision for the inputs user. First input I want from the user is a number, so I use the format specifier for a number, percentage d. The next specifier that or the next parameter that I want is a float. So I put it specifier for floats there, while the last one is a character. I put this and then so I use the referencing of each of my num. I use a comma here, and then I put for. Finally, I repeat the same thing for my child. Okay, so after doing that, I'd say the number number you entered is, this will be here. A new line will write file for a float. File for a float is percentage F. The character floats. For the second specifier, we have my char. We run the program now and let's see what the output will be. Okay, so we see that the program is asking us, please enter a number, float, and a char of your choice. So take note that after every input, we have to press enter. So let's say we have a number 12. The next thing we're supposed to enter is a float. Let's say 3.465. Now we're supposed to enter a character. Let's say capital letter P, and then we press enter. Now it says the number you entered is 12. What you entered is 3.465. The character you entered is P. So this is how we handle multiple inputs. It has multiple inputs. Let's say we want to write a program that stores the inputs or that stores the information of a student. Okay, so let's write that up. First, we'll take down the age of the student. Then we'll take the phone number of the student. Okay, so we say phone. Then we'll take the email address. No, not the email address. Let's say the blood group. So the blood group of a student is usually, blood groups are usually A, AB, B, and O. A, B, or O. Okay, so let's that's character. So let's say char. Okay, so we have to tell the user to enter its age. So we say print. Please enter your age. Down the input of the user. So once again, the input is a decimal, so we can use percentage I or percentage T. Then we use the referencer to take down input for that. Then we say we print another statement. Phone numbers are usually integers, so use the specifier for integer now. The last is to print a statement for the user to input their blood group. Please enter your blood group. So the blood group this time is supposed to be a single input. But what I want is, after the user inputs its age, I want a new line to be started where the user can enter their phone number. I also want a new line. Here the question is asked the user to. That's why I'm putting a new line for the start. So a new line is done. A new line is selected, and then the information prints out as please enter your phone number. Thereafter, a new line also before you see the information. So I will also need the scan down the information. This time is a character. Specifier. Okay, the specifier this time is and. Okay, good. So then we want a final print statement that prints out all the input the user has given. Say student is so number of years and has a phone number and belongs to God which is a C. So this, the first D is age. Now the next one is the phone, so we have the phone. Last is the blood, so okay, so let's run our code and see what we have. So the program now is asking us to enter your age. So let's say 23. Press enter. Says please enter your phone number. So let me put a dummy phone. Now it says please enter your blood group. Let's say blood group O. And the print statement says student is 23 years and has a phone number of this and belongs to blood group O. Okay, so we can adjust whatever English problem that we have from the sentence. So let's try that again. Okay, so let's run that again. 3. Let's put a dummy number there. And then blood group, let's say O. The student is 23 years old, has a phone number of this, and blood belongs to blood group O. So this is how to take multiple inputs from the user being done on separate lines. Okay, so let's move on now and see how we do string input. I remember from the part 1 I mentioned that the only data type that we did not talk about is a string. So when working with a string in scanf, you need to specify the size of the string or array that you intend to use. So let's take a look. So we use the char to represent a string. However, you need to include the size of the char that you want to input. So let's say I have a char of 5, and the name of the char is char, and the name of the char is name. Now, if I put an input, let's say I put an input longer than 5, that is below 5 characters, say John. Okay, so let's say my first is John. Then I want to print that out. So to print that out, I have to use a different specifier now. Percentage S is the specifier that we use this time around. So instead of using percentage C, we use percentage S because we have specified that we have 5 characters there. So let's run the program and let's see what the output is. Okay, so it says my name is John. Take note that for strings, we use double quotes. Above characters, we use single quotes. Okay, so now once again, let's repeat. Now let's add Johnny. Now Johnny is 6 characters, greater than 5 characters. Let's run the program now. We see that it says my name is John, but doesn't print completely because we would encounter an error if we attempt to write characters that are beyond the value that we have inside. So let's increase this and say this is 10. And run, we'll see that the output comes out. So this means that when we do not know for certain how many characters the user will enter, we need to put enough space, enough numbers. We need to increase the digit we're writing there to help us to accumulate or create for names or objects or strings that are long in size. For example, let's say we want to take in the emails of users as a string. So we can set the value there to 50 because or 100 because we do not expect users to have emails that are longer than 100 characters. However, when we encounter such issues, there is an alternative. Let's take for example now. Let's see why we are. Let's say I have I'm supposed to take 30 characters. User whose name is right. Let's say the name is Johnny Brown. Bravo, and then we attempt to run that. It comes out as Johnny Bravo. Now let's say we want the user to be the one to give us the input. Okay, so to take that we need to use, we'll be using the scanf. Let's use the scanf now to take the input from the user. This time we use the specifier, which is %f. Then we use the referencer, which is the and type okay, so let's run that. Sorry, we did not tell the user to enter something, so let's save. We say please enter your full name. Okay, so we run that now. It says please enter your full name, and I write Bravo. That key, and what do you see? You notice that Johnny is the only name that gets printed. Bravo doesn't follow. So what has happened? So in using scanf, immediately there's a space provided by the user in between 2 names or in between 2 separate strings. A print statement only has the ability to access. It would be unable to access the second. In order to solve that issue, we came up with another type of function, which is now the difference between the scanf and the fgets is for fgets, you need to write the name of the variable followed by a comma followed by the size of variable name or the string name and a standard int. So let's see what it looks like. So we'll go to the code very soon. So it means char full name 30. So let's say my full name I say must include just 30 characters. So and then I use my printf to say type your full name. So fgets then the variable name, which is full name. Size of is a function in C. We'll learn about that in the next part of the video. And then full name once again is the variable name, and then stdin standard input is a constant that must be attached to make the fgets work. So instead of putting scanf here, I'll put my fget. things accompany my fget: variable name followed by comma, size of variable name, which is what? Finally, stdin. So let's run that and see what we have. So it says, please enter your full name, Johnny Bravo. Once again, enter, says my name is Johnny Bravo. So the fgets is greater than the scanf when we are trying to impute strings. So the scanf is best suited for integers, characters, and floats. When we're talking about string input, it's important to use the fgets. So you remember we enter the fgets again. We have fgets, variable name followed by a comma, size of the variable name followed by a comma, and the standard. This is how we come to the end of part 2 of our module 2, where we've talked about user input, and then we talked about string input. So we will discuss operators and expressions in the next part of this module. Bye for now. I hope to see you